All right, another spark and another build. Forge your stance. Shape your turn. Today we're venturing into the shadows to find the light. We're talking about a group of titans that exist in a space few return from. A space between what was and what is.
These aren't the shining champions you see on the banners. They aren't born of pristine innovation. They are the fallen, the reclaimed. Today, we are doing a deep dive into one of the most complex groups in Tools and Titans, the Purified Echo.
But before we explore those who've returned from the brink, let's ground ourselves in the fundamentals. For anyone new joining us, here's how a turn works.
It's a design of beautiful simplicity, a 6-step process, the heartbeat of every match.
So how do you play Tools and Titans? Draw your cards.
Charge your energy.
Build your field.
Act with your powers.
Clash with your titans.
End your turn. 6 steps, 1 epic battle. But the Purified Echo, they play with the very memory of those steps.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The Purified Echo. The name itself is haunting. Who are they exactly?
The Purified Echo are Pyraedin, Magnelor, and Synaptir, 3 titans who were once completely lost to Rustborn corruption. We're talking fully inverted, believed to be permanently broken.
So these were full-on antagonists in the lore.
Exactly. But through unique catastrophic catalyst events, each one managed to reclaim a part of their original essence. They re-emerged, but not as their former selves. They came back as echoes with purified intent.
So they're hybrid titans? Walking that line between purity and what they used to be.
Precisely. They walk a fragile threshold between purity and entropy, between memory and recursion. Their powers are filtered through the lens of trauma. Their abilities have been restructured for balance rather than pure dominance.
They are not saints.
And they are not monsters. They are the echo of both.
That's a heavy concept. So what do they represent in the game's design?
They represent narrative redemption as a playable mechanic, the rare, almost impossible path of returning from a total Rustborn fall. They also represent shattered identities, reassembled into something new. This creates a third alignment, not Tool, not Rustborn, but purified hybrid.
You mentioned their fall was catastrophic. Give us the timeline. How did they come back?
Each one was once a fully playable Rustborn variant. Their turning point was an event called the Weave Purge Epoch, a massive, catastrophic cleansing attempt led by Forgeheart SEAL teams. In that chaos, they were caught in an Echo Lock event.
An Echo Lock. A paradox?
It was a stasis loop where their past, pure selves clashed with their corrupted forms. From that paradox, they reconstituted into new beings. Their rebirth was an unintended anomaly, unnatural but stable.
Unnatural but stable. That has to affect where they can exist.
They can't return to the gleaming halls of the Tool Titans. They reside in half-realized echo sanctums, zones that exist in dual states just like them.
Like what?
Pyraedin has the Cinderglint Expanse, a ruined, scorched zone where fire still obeys intent. Magnelor, the Polar Bastion, a fortress of reversed polarity, and Synaptir dwells in the Signal Hollow, a looping frequency field of eternal echo casts.
And there's a catch.
The catch is these regions are only stable while the Echo Titans remain pure. If their corruption returns, their sanctums can collapse into rust zones mid-campaign.
The stakes are incredibly high. So let's talk tabletop. Why do these titans matter for a player?
They matter because they crack the game open in a new way. They create a deck-building philosophy of play through consequence. You get to access controlled Rustborn abilities without the full cost of entropy. They are a model for design spaces like phase-locked cards and conditional flip forms.
And in player versus environment modes?
They function as conditional allies who might revert if Scorch spreads, or as redemption bosses tested by player choices, and as zone balancers helping restabilize corrupted maps.
Let's get into the gears. How do they actually operate? What are their core mechanics?
All right, let's break down their unique systems. First is Echoform Purge, a once-per-game ability to remove a Rustborn card and reclaim a tool or zone. Its redemption as a targeted weapon.
Next up, Dual Affinity.
This leans into their hybrid nature. Their cards gain either Rustborn or tool synergy depending on the game state. For instance, a card's power might shift based on the number of scorched zones on the field. You have to constantly manage the board to empower the right affinity.
What about Phase Lock? That sounds tricky.
It is. It's a mind game. Some of their cards only activate in mirrored phases. An ability might trigger in your opponent's end phase instead of your act phase. It's all about delayed effects and messing with your opponent's planning.
And their memory-based mechanics?
That brings us to Memory Burn and Echo Casts. Memory Burn lets you sacrifice actions from past turns to fuel powerful effects now. Echo Casts are suspended cards from the past that suddenly reactivate when the weave aligns, setting up ghostly traps.
And the last one, Conditional Flip Cards.
This is the core of their identity. Cards that transform under specific triggers. A cleansing effect might flip a card to its purified side, while taking corruption damage could flip it back to its Rustborn side. Your own actions dictate their form.
So let's put a face to these mechanics. The individual titans. Pyraedin, the echo of combustion.
His role is burn suppression. His mechanics are about reversing fire damage. He cleanses scorch tokens, reflects burn damage, and restrains detonations.
Magnelor, the echo of magnetism.
He's all about polarity control. He uses reverse targeting, forcing an opponent's tool to hit their own structures. He creates push-pull fields to rearrange the battlefield.
And finally, Synaptir, the echo of signal.
The feedback trickster. His identity revolves around trigger echoes and illusion timing. He can make an ability trigger again or create illusionary blockers. His echo memory play brings back one-time use task cards for a second run.
So you have this incredibly flexible toolkit. What are the overall strengths and weaknesses?
The biggest strength is hybrid flexibility. They can adapt to fight both aggressive Rustborn and controlling Tool Titan decks. You can use forbidden mechanics legally without the full decay cost, and their phase play is incredible for counterpunching.
But that has to come with serious downsides.
It does. This is an expert-level faction. Their biggest weakness is being extremely condition-dependent. Many effects require a very specific board state to activate. There's also a constant corruption risk. Mismanage the board and your titans can flip against you.
And they're outsiders to both factions.
Exactly. No pure identity synergy. You can't get the full buffs from either Tool Titan or Rustborn cards. They require carefully tuned decks and are fragile against hard removal.
So what kind of strategies emerge from this?
You see a few main archetypes. With Pyraedin, a burn cleanse mid-range deck that weathers an initial storm and then turns the tables. With Magnelor, a magnetic mirror control deck that uses the opponent's own force against them. And with Synaptir, a signal echo trickster deck for players who love stacking effects and complex combos.
It all comes back to their narrative. Redemption isn't clean. It's a constant, active struggle.
And you see that in their story arcs. They're called the Reclaimers of the Weave, or Echoes Without Anchor. Their campaigns are tied to shrine recovery and healing the scarred land.
Their tools are scarred. Their zones are unstable.
And their effect is hauntingly precise. It's a faction built on the idea that your history can be reshaped into a strength, but you can never forget it. The scar is the source of the power.
A powerful message woven directly into the cards. A constant reminder of the balance between creation and corruption.
In every match of Tools and Titans, your tradecraft unfolds in 6 simple moves.
Draw.
Charge.
Building.
Act.
Clash.
End.
Simplicity for the novice.
Mastery for the Titan.